ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Kent Holste podcast, right here on the KentHolstePodcast.com website, and as well as the YouTube channel. I'm so glad that you decided to click this link and join in the conversation, as today we are going to be talking about something that I know I struggle with, and that's not dealing with the way things sometimes play out in life. And what I mean by that, I'm talking like, when things don't go as planned. And I know that can be easy for some people, kind of rolls off their back like it's nothing. But then there's some people who like to have a plan, have a schedule, be prepared, have things ready. It makes for a lot easier of a time, and also it's just maybe just easier to cope with things when things are that way. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But we're going to talk about that, so stay tuned right here on the Kent Holste Podcast. Have you seen the Kent Holste Podcast website yet? If you haven't, now's a good time. It's all at www.KentHolstePodcast.com. It's more than just podcasts. There's interviews, blogs, sports talk, the corner ropes, circle of friends, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Check it out today. It's at www.KentHolstePodcast.com. Join the community. All right, everybody. So if you're a first-time listener to the podcast, I want to thank you guys, first of all, for clicking that link. This podcast is about positivity. It's about encouraging others to be at their best. So if you would, any comments that you make, please make them appropriate. I don't want to delete any comments or even block someone for not using the right judgment. And so, otherwise, this is a place to be a community, and hopefully something that was brought up in today's conversation is something that you've experienced in your life. Maybe you struggled with it, and maybe you've overcome it by hard work, or maybe there's some tips that you could give other people who could really use it. So today we're talking about when things don't go as planned or as expected. For me, this is not an easy topic for me, because there's a lot of things in my life, quite frankly, that didn't go as planned. Having 3 failed marriages just was not in my day planner for each of those years that, unfortunately, those divorces happened. It just is how it came to be. And maybe it was by negligence on my part for not thinking more clearly about what I was doing, or not taking the time to really get to know the person I was with. That's on me, and I own up to that. The biggest thing that I have tried to do over the last 4 years now is to kind of, close these doors that have been wide open in my life that I've struggled with. And the only way you can move forward, the only way you can kind of have closure, I guess is a good way of putting it, is by, admitting the things that you need to change. Seeing the things that you do wrong and kind of go, okay, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to do with my life. For not only my personal good, but maybe it involves other people. And, those were definitely some huge hurdles and roadblocks in my life that definitely left me going, okay, I didn't expect that. That wasn't planned. I always wanted that perfect relationship. I always have talked about, I look at my cousin, for instance. He's been married for some time now to one person, and they have an incredible relationship. They have two amazing kids, and they're completely devoted to each other, to their family. But the way they work together is amazing. And I look at my grandparents who, my grandfather has since passed, but my grandmother is still alive. They were married for a very long time, well over 50 years, well over 60 maybe. It amazes me when I can see people who can work together without having issues. And don't get me wrong, every relationship has issues. But, issues that are severe. Like, I've been through it all in my relationships. I've seen it all. But I guarantee you, my grandparents, my other family members, they have not gone through the same things that I have. And it's been hard. And I get down on myself because all I ever wanted was for someone to be able to understand me, to see the good in my heart and not take advantage of it. It's been hard to stand on the sidelines, for say, and watch everybody else have these perfect relationships where they're happy and they work together, they're amicable, they work as a team, and they do what they can to make their relationship the best it can be. And here I am, 36 years old, and I'm thinking, why couldn't have I had that? It didn't go as planned. And I know I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I know I shouldn't, just take on so much of the blame, because it takes two. My parents always said that. It takes two to fight. It takes two to continue a fight. It does not. It does not get solved by yelling, screaming, making accusations, assuming. There's so many things that happen in today's world as far as relationships. And the thing is I'm a firm believer that there's people out there that don't know how to value relationships. I'm always giving 110% in relationships. And then the moment that, people get the idea of who I am, it seems like they learn, and then they learn to how to take that for granted and take advantage of my heart. And, I've always been a good guy. It's just, I've always had the worst luck in finding someone with a good heart. And, was with one person that was a good person. It just didn't work out. And the hardest thing I've had to deal with, and this is my second example, is just recently I've been trying to clean up a fire with one of my kids. One of my kids seemed to have got the impression that other people were informing them about me and was not giving my child the correct information. They've been trying to manipulate and try to feed into my child's mind inaccurate things, inaccurate stories, inaccurate situations about things in the past, but also how I feel about them, how I feel about my own child. It's devastating to know that people that I've known my entire life could derail a relationship between a father and a child, just to accomplish personal agendas that maybe they haven't been able to accomplish with their own life. I don't know what their plan or objective was. But I basically have been trying to clean up a mess, and it literally took me explaining the whole situation, starting from the time that their mother's relationship that ended all the way to now, and what has caused certain things to happen, and why things have played out the way they have. You know, I didn't plan for this to happen to my child. You know, I wanted all my kids to be raised with one mom, one home. And this is another thing that I have beaten myself up for a lot every day. And this is what makes hard getting out of bed every single day, is knowing that I completely dropped the ball as a parent. You know, I've always had big goals, big dreams, big expectations when it comes to having a family, having a child. I wanted to be the best parent in the world. I wanted to make sure that they were safe, that they were taught the differences between right and wrong, but most importantly, I wanted to make sure that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, was the center part of their heart and in their mind at all times, knowing that they can rely and trust on their relationship with Jesus just as much as I have from the time that I can remember. And thankfully, two of my kids that I know of are very strong in their faith. They both know and claim that Jesus Christ is their Lord and that Jesus died for their sins. And as a parent, to me, that is such a powerful feeling to know that they have accepted something so amazing and special into their heart. But, you know, going back to our topic, you know, about when things don't go as planned, I wanted to be there for their good times, their bad times, their times of depression, their times when people may bully them. There has been plenty of times where my daughter has talked about, growing up, how through those times, she was bullied or made fun of, and not being there in person for a lot of those conversations has been a very hard thing for me, because as a parent, you want to be there to comfort. As a parent, you want to be there to confide, to give advice. And it's one thing to do it over the phone, but it's another when you're there face to face, so they can feel the love and the support that they have through their parent. It's no big surprise that my devotion to being a parent is very strong and very important to me. And it kills me that I'm not able to forgive me, I'm a little bit emotional when I talk about this. It's hard for me to accept sometimes that my bad choice of choosing people in my life has led me to where I'm at right now. Not being able to have contact with 3 of my kids. It's been hard. It's been difficult. It has been something that I've had to really search in my heart where to find my drive each day. Because, it's one thing when you're able to wake up and your kids wake you up and they open the door and slam it open and they run into the bed and room and jump on the bed and smother you with hugs and kisses and telling you it's time to wake up. Those are the times that I miss. I miss the bedtimes. I miss doing things. And it all goes to the point of it hurts when things don't go as planned. And it brings me to the questions of the day for our podcast, and we'll get to those when we come back. Are you looking to join a good community with people that truly care about your feelings and emotions? Well, I encourage you to check out Kent Holste Podcast website, where you can find Circle of Friends. Circle of Friends is a place to be a community, but more importantly, a family. This is a page to be supportive by sharing special events that are positive or even letting others pray for you. A place that people can come together without fear of being judged, no matter of race or disabilities. A time to be that person that takes the time to care for others when it's needed most. We are all not just friends, we are family. It's the Kent Holste Podcast website at kentholstepodcast.com with Circle of Friends. So it's come to the time where we talk about our experiences that are related to this. And the questions I have for you, you can answer in the comment spot below. And remember, once again, that if you're going to comment, please make it appropriate. Please make it about how you can help others with their struggles, with their hard times. Because just like me, there's people who have been through divorces, been through relationships that have ended unexpectedly, or maybe they knew it was going to happen, but still, you don't plan this. You don't get married to just get divorced later. You marry someone because at that time you feel something so special, so amazing about that one person. And trust me, all the people that I've devoted my life to, whether it be in marriage or just in relationship, I've always seen the good. I've never looked at their past or the mistakes they've made as a reason to deny them the chance to have a life with me or to see if it's even possible. I've always done whatever I could to just see the good. And that comes from being raised from my parents and how they taught me how to be a good person. But the questions I want you to think about is this. When has there been times where things have happened where it didn't go to plan, where you let it, get to you, where it affected you, it brought you down? It may have brought you down to your knees. It may have got you to the point where you questioned yourself, like, am I really good enough? Maybe it has nothing to do with relationships. Maybe it's a job that you had and you left one because another job seemed like it was going to be the greener grass, on the other side of the hill. And you thought you were going to make more money. You thought that you were going to do a lot better at it, and it would change the way that your family was going to be able to be raised and be supported. Yeah, that happened to me, and I made a bad choice, and it didn't go as planned, and I actually lost more money than what I made. And so, yeah, it's hard. Or, even the last 4 years, I've struggled to find a job that I can support myself and still be able to pay my bills, and yet have the responsibility of paying child support. And sometimes that hasn't been able to happen because, I have to pay rent, I have to pay my car insurance, I have to pay medical bills. I have medications I need to take, otherwise I would go completely bonkers. And if you add all that up, along with what I have for obligations for child support, it's just impossible. And my thoughts on that are for a whole nother thing, and I don't think I'll ever talk about it because it's not going to do any good. Unfortunately, there's people who understand that people struggle. There's things that happen. And then there's other people who understand and don't make a big deal about it because they know that life happens. And it goes to this whole topic. Sometimes things don't go as planned or as what you expect. And the other thing is how much of these things that you are expecting are out of greed? That's a huge question. I know for me, there's been a lot of times where I've only thought about myself. I didn't think about other people involved. If we are going into life thinking, what am I going to gain? You're going about life the wrong way. If you're going into things thinking, what can I do so I can get more out of the pot than somebody else, you're going about life the wrong way. Life is not about who's better, who has more. I was in a relationship once where they're like, well, I'm better than you because I have a job that pays more and you get paid less. Therefore, you're not as relevant. Exact words. There was times where, because I didn't make the top money, I had less of a say on what type of job or what type of hours I should be working. I was forced to work certain jobs because this person thought that they should be in control of every detail of my life. And I'm an adult. Here I am in a relationship. And it's supposed to be about communication, right? And it was never about that. But yet, I was being called the selfish one. It didn't make sense. A lot of manipulation. It was not fun. And there it goes, right there. I did not plan that. Things were not like that at the beginning of the relationship. It's, once again, people realize, after a certain amount of time, that comfort level begins to loosen up a little bit. And it's kind of like that new chair that you get. At first, it's stiff, or even a mattress, it's stiff. But once you sit and you lay in it for a little bit, you start to get your little comfort zone built into it. That's how relationships are. Once you get to that comfort zone and you get used to how it feels, you change. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. People think that, the whole communication just kind of goes away. It becomes my way or the highway. And there's a lot of people who live by that. And that's unfortunate. And when I think about those relationships that my grandparents had, or my cousin has, or, even friends that I've known that have been married for many, many years, their relationships aren't like that. They take the time to listen, to understand, to support, to be their foundation for each other. Because without a firm foundation for each other, you're going to be just like that parable in Matthew about how when you base your foundation on sand compared to building your foundation on a rock. And unfortunately, just recently, we see what happens when you build your foundation on sand, not on a firm foundation. It collapses. It crumbles. And then we wonder, well, why did it fall? Why did it not work? Because you didn't have a firm foundation. And so goes with life. You need to have a firm foundation and a better understanding on how you should live your life. Because if you live life the right way, and you have a plan, and you get to know people, and you stay at your job long enough, and you build that opportunity to grow in that spot, there's not going to be chances of unexpected times happening. It lowers that chance, that risk. But when you're making choices that aren't smart, when you're doing things not in the right way, yes, you're going to have lots of times where the unexpected happens. When the things don't go as you planned, because maybe your hopes, maybe your dreams, your aspirations are not the same as what the other person wants. Sometimes you really have to dig to find out the truth and to know that, okay, this is where I stand. This is where they stand. Is this where I want to be down the line? And that's why it's important for me to have relationship with someone that understands me, like I said, that has the same faith as me, that understands that, my whole objective to life is to help people, to inspire people, to let people know that, yes, I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We want to assume that we are. We want to put out this image or this persona that we are the greatest of all time, that we are the one and only GOAT. But in reality, we fall short. We're not perfect. We're not as perfect as what we seem. And that's why sometimes things don't go as planned. Because nothing is perfect in our world, in our society, no matter how hard we try. It's bound to happen. Things that we don't expect are bound to happen. Like sickness. Like death. Like a loss of a job. A loss of a marriage, loss of kids. It all happens. But how do we deal with it when those times happen? Are we handling them in the right way? Are we doing things to help others that are in these predicaments? Because when people struggle, when people hurt, we just assume that they're just going to be okay. How many of us reach out to one another and say, hey, do you need something? Hey, I heard you lost your job. Is there something I can do for you? Hey, I heard you lost your one and only vehicle. Is there something I can do to help you get to work, find a job, whatever? Hey, I heard that you lost your kids. Man, that sucks. But is there something I can do to help you? Is there any way that I could take you out for some coffee and we can talk? You can kind of let everything spill out. We don't do that. We don't do it enough. And until we start doing these things to better our lives, this world isn't going to get any better. So let's make this change together. Let's make a promise that we're going to treat other people with respect. The biggest thing that I don't like about our world today is people who can't keep their word. People who can't keep their promise. There's people out there that go, oh yeah, I'm not like other people. Oh, I could never treat you like that. But the next thing you know, you're ghosted. These people that supposedly had your back are nowhere to be found. One moment they're on your friends list or they're able to be contacted, and the next thing you know, they're not on your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter. You try to make a phone call and it says the line is busy or disconnected. Didn't go as planned, did it? But yet these people are okay with not being open and honest as to why they're doing what they're doing. Maybe they've been misinformed about something. Maybe they were turned off by something. But how can you live and learn if you don't know? People just don't have respect for other people. And it's unfortunate. But yet, what are we doing to change? We're just sitting and watching all these horrible and very heinous things happen within our world, and we do nothing to stop it. We like to complain. We like to go, oh, well, this is horrible. I hate this. I don't like this. This is not right. But yet, nothing. You see, that's why this podcast is so important. I'm talking about the stuff that I've done wrong. I'm very open and honest about it. And the thing is, there's not enough people that want to be open and honest about their own life story. And chances are their life story could help someone. Their life story could help someone believe in themselves, have confidence to know that just because bad things happen, it's not the end. Do you realize that a lot of the mental problems that happen within our country are caused by feeling alone? Out of fear that no one else understands, no one else has been through what they have, but they are so wrong. There are people who have hurt, who have struggled, who have been used, who have been lied to, who have been manipulated, who have been cheated out of various different things. You're not alone. But there's people like me that care, that want to help, that want to show you that I've had plenty of hard times. I've had times that would make your stomach turn. But the only way it's going to get better for me is if I continue to talk about it, bring awareness of it, but also surround myself with good people. And I tell you what, the people that have joined this community have been the best thing that has ever happened to me. The people who contact me, the letters that I've received have been touching. There's days where I question, what's the value of my life? Am I doing enough? And when I see these letters, these emails, these personal messages, it reminds me that everything that I'm doing is working. People are being reached. People are being impacted. And that is something that is so special to me. You know, I don't do this for a pat on my back. I just want to see people get help. So if these unexpected times, these situations when things don't go as planned are affecting you in ways that are making you think things that are not safe, please contact the police or go to a local hospital. Seek help. Talk to a professional that can help get your mind where it needs to be. You know, to end this podcast, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to me. And I know I've talked about this before, but for those of you that are new, I hope that you'll stay and listen to this about what got me to this point. Hey everyone, I just want to take this time to thank you for tuning in to today's show. Without your support and watching these videos, this podcast wouldn't be where it's at today. And the same goes for the website as well, and the YouTube channel. So to help me out even more, if you haven't done so yet, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to ring that bell so you can be notified when a new, amazing content comes out. Also, don't forget to check out all the other social media sites as well, and like, share, and comment, and subscribe there too. It all is being a part of this community where we can come together and show that we care for one another so we can motivate and encourage others. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the show. Yes, indeed. This podcast would definitely not be possible without your support. So if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Ring that bell for notifications, because it does do a lot of good for this podcast. So to end this podcast, I'm going to talk to you about what happened about 4 years ago. During my divorce, when things were really getting really nasty, I was feeling like, okay, my mind feels like I'm losing control. I was already seeing a therapist, so I was seeing this therapist at least 2 to 3 times a week because I was so on edge that I was losing my mind. I ended up going to a doctor that prescribes medications, and I said, listen, man, I'm on stuff for my ADHD, my depression, my slight bipolar, but, I need something for anxiety. I feel like I'm about to lose control. And the doctor looks at me and goes, usually I'm the one telling my patients what they need. It's very rare that a patient is coming in and admitting that they need help. And when he said that to me, it made me realize that, for one, I was on the right track, that I was doing the right thing. And when you're seeing that your life is going in a spot where it's out of control, where you're on your knees begging for mercy, sometimes that's all it takes, is seeking help. Some people out there think seeking help is a sign of weakness. Some people think that talking about their emotions takes away their pride. It takes a piece of them away. When you talk about how you feel, when you talk about the struggles that you're dealing with emotionally, you're doing yourself a favor. When you ball things up and you don't talk about them, it's like a ticking time bomb. It's bound to explode, and stuff is going to hit the fan, and it's not going to be pretty. So why do that to yourself? Your emotions should be held in ways where you can be told what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing that could use a little bit of tweaking. There's so many things that can come from talking to someone. But most importantly, if you need medication to help you, there's a lot of people like, oh, medication, it's a bunch of, junk. It doesn't work. It doesn't do its job. It just makes things worse. Yes and no. Sometimes it takes time to find the right things that you need to work with your body that can make you better, that can make you see things more straight. And trust me, for the past 3 years, I've been on the right medications. I've been on the things that I need, and I see things more clearly. I don't rush to think the worst. I don't think people are out to get me. I feel like I can relax. I can be me. And that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And it's all because I chose to seek help. I chose to give medications a chance, because growing up as a kid, I never gave medication a chance. I always came up with a reason as to why it didn't work. And 9 times out of 10, I wasn't taking them, so how could it have worked? Didn't make sense, does it? If you want help, you have to accept help. And if you're not going to accept help, then you're not ready. But I can tell you this, the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to get past things that are hard. It literally has taken me 3 years to get over some very hard things. And a lot of it, I'm not even close to being completely cured, if you want to call it that. I'm still hurting. I'm still beating myself up for a lot of things that, quite frankly, are out of my hands. And to know that I've come this far compared to 4 years ago, it's mind-blowing. I never thought for one day that I would be the person that I am today. Never. I never thought it would be possible. And here I am. It's just proof. If you put in the work, if you put in what it takes to better yourself, to better your life, good things will happen. But if you don't think that way, of course things are not going to go your way. Of course you're going to have those times where things don't go as planned. Because you're not doing things the way they're meant to be. So think about that. So remember to think and be positive. Do what you can today, not what you can't, to figure out how you can get over these times that were not planned. Have a game plan. Set rules for yourself, for your life. And if you need to, talk to someone. Seek help. Because that's the best thing you can do for yourself. And I believe in you. Don't you think you should too? And if you see someone who served our country, whether it be military, police, fire, or even the people that work hard in our hospitals, give them an elbow, give them a fist bump, tell them how much you appreciate them. You never know how much they might appreciate that one random act of kindness, so do that today. Until the next time we talk, thank you for listening to the Can't Holste podcast. I hope that you all stay safe, but most importantly, God bless.